Hey, online crew. Okay, we've got some streaming difficulties. Give me a second. What's going on here? It's telling me, I know I'm live on Instagram. I know I'm live on my business page. I know I'm live on YouTube. Discard that. But for some reason, it doesn't want to go live in my group. So I'm just going to push a couple of buttons here. How are we? Welcome to a new week. If you are newer to my lives, I go live twice a week now. I did go live, so I'm just sharing this into the group. I did go live, hang on, what's it called? I need to grab the description as well. I did go, what am I trying to say? Oh, I did go live 3 times a week, but I'm now leaving Fridays in my part of the world, sharing a group. For my team, because we've got so much going on, team calls and things like that. So I'm now posting it in the group, so hopefully it'll pick up there. So just a little bit of a technical difficulty there, but we should be back on track now. How are we? So traditionally, when I'm not doing a boot camp or something like that, this video at the beginning of the week, yes, I can see your message, having difficulty streaming. Are you just going to stay on my screen? Yeah, this video at the beginning of the week is something to do with personal development. It's something to help you be a better version of yourself so you can build an amazing business. Because what most people are looking for is the shiny object syndrome, the latest craze, something like that to help you, skyrocket your business online. But it's you. It's you that's going to make your business amazing. It's you that's got to show up on social media. It's you. It's your genuine personality. It's the actions that you take every day. You are your biggest asset. It's not all the shiny online stuff. It's you. So this is more important, I think, than talking about, some of the shiny stuff to help us build online. So what I wanted to share with you today is something that I was just listening to recently regarding a 5-minute, and it was actually, I didn't title it this way in the video, but they actually called it like a 5-minute intervention that can change your life. I thought, I don't really see it as an intervention. It's more like a routine that has the potential to change your life. And this comes from a doctor and well-known, I think it was a neurologist. So there's some science behind what I'm going to share with you today. But I think it's really powerful if you kind of listen. And if you adopt this strategy, it does have the power to kind of change the course of your life, not only for you in your life, but in your relationships and then in your business and everything that flows on from there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to share today. So, hey, Dean. Hey, Jane. Great to see you on live. Oh, I've had these up for a little while, but yeah, thank you for the belts. But what I'm sharing with you today is basically the principle. Like you would have heard before, that it's the small things that you do every day that set you up for success, right? If you've heard that before, just put yes in the comments that you know what I'm talking about there. And we hear this constantly. It's the small things that you do every day that are going to set you up for success. Business-wise for you, that's very much what we talk about with a DMO, a daily method of operation. So it's the small things that you do every day, like in the morning, how you start your morning. Have you heard of those books called the morning? Is it the Morning Miracle? What are those books called? I've forgotten the exact name. The Miracle Morning, the morning. There's series of books. There's a special one for network marketers. I think it's called The Miracle Morning, and it's all about setting yourself up in the morning. And if you follow like successful people and gurus that you follow, a lot of them will have something that they do first thing in their morning to set themselves up for success. I don't know if you know Mel Robbins' original story, but she first started changing the course of her entire life just by making her bed in the morning. Instead of, do you make your bed in the morning? Or do you have a messy bed? I can't stand a messy bed. Whether it's my husband or myself, like one of us, we make the bed every morning. Just little things like that. It's the little things that you do every day. So like a DMO for business, a DMO for yourself. So, suddenly no sound. Can you hear me? Is that just Dean? Or is anyone else not hearing any sound? Just wondering if that's just Dean or whether it's all of you. So let me know in the comments there. You can probably still hear me on Instagram here. So it's the small habits that you do every day. So business-wise, it's a DMO that you have every day that's going to help you. Jane, thank you. You can hear me. Awesome. It's the small things that you do every day. So, of course, you're going to want to learn new things. You're going to want to learn things like Reels and lead magnets and TikTok and, recruiting, prospecting, all the things. But it's the little things that you do every day. So I was listening to this doctor talk about this theory of this 5-minute routine that he's done every day in the morning for 7 years and the impact that that had on his life. So he talked to a lot of his patients about this 5-minute sort of routine, if you like. When they did it, it's changed their life. So it works on the principle, and you would know this. There are things that you know you need to do, but you don't because you don't feel like it, correct? And there's a lot of you that don't work your business or don't do what you need to do for your business, or you don't do your DMO because you just don't feel like it. So when we feel energized and we feel good and we feel positive, then we're more likely to do the things that we know we need to do for ourselves, for our health, for our family, for our business, right? We all know that kind of general principle. So what this doctor, and this is, his name is Dr. Chatterjee. He's a world-renowned physician, best-selling author, host of Europe's #1 health and wellness podcast. So what he does every day and has done for 7 years is just for 5 minutes, he comes downstairs in the morning and he loves his coffee. So he puts some kind of coffee pot on and it's got a timer for 5 minutes. I don't know whether he's, brewing coffee or what he's actually doing with his coffee, but he puts on like a 5-minute timer. While the timer is going off, he has a 5-minute routine that he does in his kitchen, in his pajamas, which is to do with movement. Now, what I mean by movement is kind of like weight-bearing exercises. So as simple as things like he'll put his hand on the kitchen bench and just do push-ups, or put his hands on the wall and just, push up, kind of like resistance type training. And then he might grab a door handle and then lunge backwards, or just do some lunges of some sort. I've got a list, I wrote down what he actually kind of did. So he started doing this. When you do something like a 5-minute routine for yourself. Now, if some of you do exercise and you've got that nailed, then equate this to 5 minutes that you could do for your business, whatever it is for you. But why I'm sharing this with you is because how you set yourself up in the morning, and I know you already know this, but I want to share some science behind this as well. When you set yourself up in the morning, with a quick routine, and you nail it because you can do it for 5 minutes, and it's something physical, it actually sends off chemicals in the brain, which is serotonin and dopamine and adrenaline and things like that. It sets off your happy hormones. So the small habits that you do either every day, they either set you up positively or negatively, and it works with a compound effect. So how do you start your day? Do you start it off with something positive for yourself that actually makes you it's just 5 minutes, it's achievable, it makes you feel good, and it's something physical that sets off your serotonin, your dopamine, and your adrenaline and things like this. So where Dr. Chatterjee got this from was a neuroscientist called Wendy Suzuki. And she says when you move your body first thing in the morning, you bathe your brain in neurochemicals. So she calls it a bubble bath of neurochemicals. So if you don't wake up on the right side of the bed, so to speak, or you don't do something first thing in the morning to bathe yourself in positive neurochemicals, it sets the scene for the whole day, how you start your day. And you're probably thinking, what does this have to do with business, Helen? But it has everything to do with business. Because of what I said before, there are things that you know you should be doing that you're not doing because you don't feel like it. So when you feel good and your positive chemicals are firing, so your serotonin and your dopamine and adrenaline and things like that, when you start the day like that, you prove to yourself that you can do something, you start to feel more positive, you will feel energetic to do the things that you know you need to do. Does this all like kind of make sense? Now, the theory kind of behind the 5 minutes is anybody can do it. Any one of you can do something for 5 minutes. And when you do it for 5 minutes and you achieve it, not only, and especially if it's something physical, not only are you firing off those neurochemicals or serotonin and dopamine, whatever, you are proving to yourself that you can do something and accomplish it. And what happens with the brain in that moment when you prove to yourself you can do something and you feel accomplished is you do more. And that will equate to you, your health, your relationships, your business. Like it does have the ability to change your life. And this doctor was talking about a patient. I'll give you this scenario. And it was a male and he had a whole lot of things physically kind of wrong with him. So the doctor talked to him and said, would you like to try this or that? And nothing lit him up until he started talking about kind of a bit of strength training, like resistance training. And don't get the wrong idea there. Strength training doesn't mean you need to go to a gym and lift weights. Strength training or resistance training just means you can use your own body weight, like against a wall or a kitchen bench or something like that, and you just push off it, like something like that. Like you can do resistance training just as simply as that. So the guy lit up when he sort of said resistance training, and the guy said, "Oh, I used to do that years ago. I loved it. I loved how it felt. It was awesome." So the doctor said, "Okay, so I want you to do maybe a 45-minute session 3 times a week." Awesome, amazing. I'll do that. Yep, that'll start the trajectory of my new journey. So he came back in a month, spoke to the doctor, and the doctor was like, "How's it all going?" And he could tell by his body language, like he just wasn't any better. And the guy said, I couldn't do it. I'm busy. I'm at work. Like to get to the gym's expensive. Like I get to work early in the morning. I leave late at night. Like I just really couldn't fit it in. I couldn't get to the gym at the times that were convenient. And, the membership was a little bit too much. So I just haven't done it. He said, "Okay, I'm going to give you something to do. Could you do 5 minutes in your kitchen in the morning, this particular routine?" This particular video is on YouTube and it's 7 years old. And it's still circulating around today, what this doctor does. So he took his jacket off in the doctor's surgery and just showed him how to push off a wall and do some lunges standing, like various things. Grabbed like a drink bottle, use this as a weight, just do some lunges. Like, could you do that in your kitchen first thing in the morning for 5 minutes? Yeah, I reckon I can. So the guy went away and he did exactly that. In just 5 minutes. So it was just, I'll give you the exercises. It was 5 to 10 squats, 5 to 10 calf raises. You just raise your calves. 5 to 10 chest press on a wall or a kitchen bench. Tricep dips, like, when you put your hands on a chair and you dip, they're called tricep dips. 5 to 10 of those. And lunges, if you're not very stable, just holding onto the side of a bench and doing a lunge, or a door handle and doing a lunge to start with. He did squats, calf raises, chest presses, tricep dips, and lunges, and just did those, like 5 to 10 of each of those in the morning, and he achieved it. So one, the blood's starting to circulate, the neurochemicals are going off. So we're getting, serotonin and dopamine and adrenaline going off. We're feeling good. He did it. He achieved it, like 5 minutes. So he did that. He came back a month later and he was like a completely different person. The doctor's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" He said, "Not only did I start with that, I now, I've got some proper weights and I do it for 10 minutes every day. And I'm doing it with some weights now rather than just my own sort of body weight. And I started walking in my lunch break at work and I'm eating healthier." And like the flow on effect from just starting a 5-minute routine in the morning, you don't even have to get changed. Because I know the barrier sometimes, if you feel like you need to go to the gym and you don't feel like it, or you've got to get your gym clothes, your running shoes on, stuff like that. If you could just walk into your kitchen, like in whatever you're wearing, hopefully you're wearing clothes, depends what you sleep in, I guess. But, you're in your pajamas and you just did some bench presses or some wall presses or some lunges, if you're not very stable, like holding onto the side of the bench. or, you know, you grab a tin of baked beans and, you know, you do it, your tricep, you could do tricep things like that with holding something, like just starting. So the science behind this is proving to yourself it's the daily habits that you do every day that set yourself up for success. When you prove to yourself you can do something, because what majority of you are doing in your business is you're getting down on yourself with something that you wanted to do and you haven't done, or you wanted to achieve and you didn't achieve. So majority of your thoughts that, you know, when it comes to your business, for a lot of people in this industry, is what you haven't been able to achieve, not what you are actually achieving. It's easier for our brain to go towards the negative rather than the positive. When you can set yourself up first thing in the morning, anybody can do this. I don't care at what time you go to work in the morning, what your routine is. Anybody can get up 5-10 minutes earlier and just, I did it actually last Friday morning. I was hosting a webinar and it was at 7:30 in the morning. So, I mean, normally I get up at 5:36 and exercise, like I've exercised for an hour and a half this morning, today. Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm not really going to have time. So I just walked into I've got a walk-in robe next to the bedroom. I didn't get changed. I had what I had on and I did push-ups and sit-ups and leg raises. And I did 3 rounds of 20 and then I got straight in the shower. Like it took me less than 10 minutes, but I still made sure I did some movement before I got in the shower and started my day and then was sitting down at 7:30 in the morning for my first webinar. I still made sure I did some movement because I know how much it makes me feel better. Can any of you do that? Even those of you that exercise regularly, you probably don't exercise. Well, some of you may exercise every day, but there's probably a lot of you that don't exercise at all, or you definitely don't exercise every day. This is something that you could do every day. And then Mel Robbins was interviewing this doctor and said, well, what about like kind of the variety of it? Like should you mix it up? Like you're doing the same exercises for 7 years in your kitchen every morning. He said, without fail, every day. But he said, it's like brushing your teeth. Do you brush your teeth a different way every morning and every night? I'm guessing no. So he said, it's like that. Because it's not, it's not, I mean, if you've got different goals and you want to build different muscles and, you know, you're on that bandwagon, then yes, you'll want to do different things. It's about the movement and the resistance and working your muscles. And he does the same exercises every morning for 5 minutes while his coffee's brewing, and has done for 7 years. He's taught that theory to patients of his that have similar, like they're down on themselves, even anxiousness, anxiety, depression, those kind of things that he's diagnosed people. He gives this same routine to those people to try. And he said, it's just amazing how many lives has changed just by starting this routine, because anybody can do it. You prove to yourself that you can do it. You'll start feeling better. And when you start feeling better, you will do more. You'll do more for your health. You'll do more. It's very interesting how when you start to feel better, you're actually more motivated, I think is the good word. Not a fan of motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It'll always let you down. But you'll actually naturally be more disciplined and motivated to look after yourself better. I felt that when I lost my weight, when I lost my 23 kilos and my 50 pounds, I'd never felt physically, I didn't even know you could physically feel that good and energized, because I'd never felt it before in my life. And it actually, you feel so good, you want to stay feeling good. You want to keep motivated, but it's not feasible for everybody to go to the gym every day or fit in a 30-minute workout routine or even a 45-minute routine. But any one of you can do something first thing in the morning for yourself for 5 minutes, like squats, calf raises, chest presses, and you only need like a bench or a wall, or if you've got some little hand weights, introduce them as you go on. Like just get that serotonin and dopamine going and see how that progresses in all areas of your life. So even if you do exercise regularly, the days that you're not exercising, you could still do that first thing in the morning. Does that make sense to you guys? Like, do you see the potential of how starting with something like this? Because again, I'll go back to it, personal or business, it's the small things that you do every day that's going to set you up for success. I guarantee you the leaders that you are watching that are like hugely successful, they've done some kind of daily routine. Like if they're, they've got success now and they've got a following probably, and they've got influence and they've got a large team, they'll just keep growing because they've got all those things now. But they started somewhere initially to get that. And I guarantee you they were probably just more disciplined with a routine. So the combination of you doing like a 5-minute routine, like I've just talked about, that Dr. Chatterjee does with all his patients that present in the same way, because he knows if he says you need to exercise and eat healthy and you need to go to the gym for 30 minutes 3 times a week, they just don't do it. The excuses are thick and fast. But if he says to them, can you do this for 5 minutes in your kitchen while you're brewing your coffee, or before the rest of the family gets up, or just something, and use your kitchen bench or do some lunges, whatever, and just do it for 5 minutes to get started? Could you do that? Anybody can do that. But when you do it, it's very, very interesting what happens to the brain when you set yourself up to do something and you actually achieve it. When you do that, you set yourself on a different trajectory. And then, when you're on that positive, you prove to yourself you can do it. And then you can do so much more, and you can do so much more in your business. And this works the same way with the DMO. It's not all the big things that you want to learn online. It's the small things. You want to have at least one piece of content out on some kind of social media a day. You want to be networking with people at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes a day. Or 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night, and doing something like ICQ, which is my kind of acronym for intention, complement, question. You intentionally work out who you want to network with, you give them a compliment, and then you ask them a question, and you just start networking with a hell of a lot more people. That's where your next customer's coming from. That's where your next team member is coming from. So when you're starting a lot of conversations and you're having those conversations in Messenger, now you're firing off the algorithm. Those people that you've just spoken to in Messenger are going to see your content the next time they open up their feed. So now more people are seeing your content. You are so much in control of your own algorithm by what you do in a DMO for your business. It's crazy. It's the small things that you do every day. It's not the big things, and it's not being, dedicated to your business for, 3 weeks and then falling off the wagon for 5. It's the small things that you do every day. So this is super, super powerful. And what I like back to the varying things, like what Dr. Chatterjee was saying is, you don't brush your teeth differently every day. You brush your teeth the same way every morning and every night. He does the same 5-minute routine every morning and has done for 7 years. He said you don't even need to vary it. Okay. So what he recommended, and this is I've quoted this from him, small changes done consistently can lead to massive outcomes. So this kind of 5-minute routine can start you on a whole new kind of trajectory, and like a really good DMO. And if you, like, I've seen people create DMOs that take like a half an hour to an hour, but they've never been consistent up to that point, and they just set themselves up for failure. Because if you haven't, if you can't conquer a 5-minute daily method of operation, like, you're not going to do a half an hour to an hour one. So you start small, you achieve it, you feel good about it, and then you grow from there. So the key to all of this is just starting small, and that's what he does with his 5 minutes every morning. So his recommended action is to take a 5-minute action that lights you up. So for you, it might not be resistance or strength training like I've talked about, just, with your own body weight. Maybe that doesn't light you up. It is good to do, especially as you get older, because we lose 5 to 10% muscle mass every year as we get older, and you need muscle mass for so many different reasons as you get older, and you need it to burn fat and stuff like that. So resistance type exercises are better as you get kind of older. But what lights you up? Maybe it might be dancing or a little bit of Zumba or, something like that. Like crank up the music, or if the family's still asleep, if you're doing it in the morning, put some earphones in and, do it in your lounge room. I've done that many a time when I haven't sort of been able to come downstairs and do like a full workout. I'll just go upstairs into my lounge room and just, like I did like last Friday morning that I told you, I was actually in my walk-in robe, just doing push-ups, sit-ups, and these leg press things. Just did it for 10 minutes. At least it was something. Okay, so take a 5-minute action that lights you up. So what's something that you enjoy doing, and do that for 5 minutes. Do it for at least 7 days, and then evaluate how it feels. And like, you can do anything for 7 days for 5 minutes. Can you not? Like, you can. And think of, the theory and the science and all this doctor's patients, like how many people he's given this theory to that's actually changed the course of their life. Isn't it worth trying? So if you're often down on yourself, you haven't achieved what you want to achieve, you kind of avoid some things in your business because you don't feel like it, like this is a great place for you to start. So, who thinks this is possible for them? And you're like, anybody listening live or replay, like, right, I'm in. Like, it sounds good, because something small like this could really make a big impact in your life. And this doctor has seen it over and over and over and over again with changing the course of people's lives just by doing this 5-minute action in the morning, whatever that action you want it to be. He also said inspiration without action does not lead to change. So, you can be inspired by somebody. You can be inspired by somebody's journey. You can be inspired by something, oh, that sounds so good. I should probably do that. But unless you actually go and take the action, it doesn't lead to change. It's just wishful thinking. Like one of my new mottos, I've got 3 mottos now. One is be human before a marketer. When you're building a business online, you always want to be human first, not those spammy messages that I keep on getting in my inbox. God, they annoy me. Oh, hi, Helen. No, they don't even use my name. It's just cut and paste. Anyway, that'll send me on a tangent. We won't talk about that. Now I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, you know what I mean. Inspiration without action doesn't drive change. So you've got to actually go and do something. If you're inspired by something, go and actually do something, about it. And make a promise to yourself to do it because you're worth it. So if you're a little bit lost, if you're not achieving what you want to achieve, if you're down on yourself and you don't do the things that you need to do because you don't feel like it, this is a perfect place to start. Because, that 5-minute action that I've shared with you, it increases your serotonin, your dopamine, your adrenaline, you'll start feeling good. But more importantly, you'll achieve something because it's so easy to achieve. And when you start achieving things, you feel good. When you feel good, you'll look after yourself even better. You'll do more. You'll be inspired to go and do the DMO every day. You see the flow-on effect that it has? And that's what he's seen over and over and over again in their patients. His patients, that it starts with a 5-minute routine and it ends in a whole complete change of life. So it is possible. Even if you exercise regularly, you don't need to do like a full 30-minute, 40-minute, hour kind of routine. For those of you that don't work out hardly ever, you should definitely be doing this. Even those of you that work out, you could still do something like this for 5 minutes to start your day if you work out later in the day. Like I would still be doing it. Okay. So over to you. It's up to you to decide whether this is something that would be beneficial for you to know or not. But the more I listened to it, I was like, this is so fascinating and there's so much science behind it and it's so simple. And sometimes the simplest things are looking you straight in the face. All you need to do is just take the action and implement it, and it could start a whole new change of how you feel. And that could then flow on to your business. You never know until you try the action. Okay. Jane's in. Awesome. Love it, Jane. So that's it's something worth trying, most definitely. So I'll leave that to you to make the decision as to whether that is something that would be beneficial to you or not. But there is a lot of science to say that it does. So it's probably worth trying. Okay. I will see you in 2 days' time for my next live video. And for those of you in my coaching community, I am teaching you this week how to create an opt-in page, like get an email address, somebody's name and an email address, and get a little bit of automation into your business and collect that for free. So you don't need expensive software. You don't need a website. I'm showing you an option to collect names and email addresses and bring a little bit of automation into your business completely for free with the strategy that I use. So this is not only good for you, this could be good for your team members as well. Okay, so I will see you either on the coaching community training in 2 days' time or the live video shortly after that, or both. So catch you then. Bye.